Imagine your brain as a supercomputer and pornography as a virus. This virus infiltrates your system, disrupting its normal functioning, much like how addictive substances can wreak havoc on the brain. It's a cycle of dependency that can be tough to break. Take, for instance, a computer virus. It stealthily enters the system, causing it to slow down, freeze, or even crash. Similarly, the constant exposure to pornography can lead to changes in the brain's structure and function, resulting in patterns of dependency and addictive behavior. This is not just an assumption, but a fact backed by scientific research. Studies have shown that pornography can stimulate the same brain regions as addictive substances, causing a rush of dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. Over time, the brain begins to crave this artificial stimulation, leading to a cycle of dependency that can be hard to break. But what if we could remove this virus, this porn, from our supercomputer brain? Think about the feeling of a freshly cleaned, virus-free computer. It's like a breath of fresh air, isn't it? The system runs smoother, quicker, and more efficiently. It's no longer bogged down by unnecessary processes that were slowing it down. Now imagine that computer is your brain. Quitting porn can provide a similar sense of clarity. It's as if a fog has been lifted, allowing you to think more quickly, to focus more precisely. When we say goodbye to the addictive cycle of pornography, we remove a significant source of distraction. The constant urge, the constant pull, it's like a virus that slows down our mental processes. Take, for instance, the story of a software engineer named Steve. Steve was struggling with a complex coding problem at work. He found himself distracted, unable to concentrate. But when he decided to quit porn, he noticed a change. His mind was clearer, sharper. He solved the coding problem that had been troubling him for weeks. Just like a computer, our brain can also experience a boost in performance when the virus of porn is removed. Imagine being able to connect deeper with the people in your life. Now, let's talk about our friend John. John was an avid consumer of pornography, and it created a rift between him and his significant other. The intimacy they once shared dwindled as John's mind was filled with unrealistic expectations and distorted views of intimacy, inherited from his consumption of pornography. When John made the decision to quit porn, however, a transformative journey began. He started to see his partner, not as an object, but as a person with feelings, dreams, and aspirations. As he distanced himself from pornography, he found himself growing closer to his partner. The conversations became deeper, the laughter more genuine, and the bond stronger than ever. This is the power of quitting porn. It doesn't just affect you, but it positively impacts your relationships as well. By freeing your mind from the shackles of pornography, you create space for genuine connections, deeper understanding, and a strengthened bond with the people around you. Quitting porn can open doors to deeper connections with people around us. Picture yourself standing taller, feeling more confident. Imagine a world where you're not bogged down by the guilt and shame that often accompanies pornography consumption. This is the world you step into when you decide to quit porn. Increased self-esteem is one of the many benefits that come with this decision. Let's take Sam, for example. Sam was a regular consumer of pornography, and he noticed that it was impacting his confidence and how he perceived himself. He felt guilty, and this guilt was eating away at his self-esteem. But when Sam decided to quit porn, he saw a transformation in himself. He started feeling better about who he was. He started standing taller, walking with confidence. The guilt and shame that once clouded his perception of himself started to fade, and in its place, he saw a man who was in control of his desires, a man he could be proud of. And that's just it. When we quit porn, we start to shed the guilt and shame that weigh us down. We start to see ourselves not as individuals dominated by our desires, but as individuals in control of them. We begin to appreciate our willpower and our strength. This appreciation translates into increased self-esteem. When we quit porn, we can start to see ourselves in a more positive light. Imagine experiencing a more authentic, satisfying sex life. Now let's talk about how quitting pornography can truly enhance your intimate relationships. Picture this. A couple, let's call them Eli and Jane, were grappling with a diminished sex life. Eli, who had been consuming porn regularly, found himself struggling to connect emotionally and physically with Jane. Then Eli decided to quit porn. Over time, he noticed a significant change. He began to view Jane not just as a partner, but as an individual with her own desires and needs. Eli found himself more attracted to Jane, appreciating her for who she really is, not just a mere fantasy. Their intimacy was rekindled, their connection deepened, and their sex life flourished. Eli's story is a testament to the fact that real intimacy thrives in the absence of pornography. It's about connecting with your partner on a profound level, understanding their needs, and sharing mutual respect and love. It's about experiencing the true essence of intimacy, unclouded by unrealistic fantasies. Quitting porn can lead to a more fulfilling and satisfying sex life. Think about the energy and drive you could unlock. Imagine the power of your mind, no longer clouded or distracted, free to channel its focus toward your aspirations. This is the boon of increased motivation, a notable benefit of quitting porn. Let's look at the story of Alex. Alex was an aspiring novelist, but he found himself constantly distracted, his motivation dwindling. His dream of writing a bestseller seemed to be slipping away. Then he decided to quit porn. Suddenly he found himself with an abundance of energy, a newfound zest for life. He was no longer a passive observer, but an active participant, driven to make his dreams a reality. In the silence of the night, when the world was asleep, Alex began to write. With every passing day, his motivation grew, his words flowed, his story took shape. And one day he held in his hands the fruit of his determination, his first novel. Quitting porn didn't just clear his mind, it also unleashed his potential, gave him the motivation to pursue his dreams. Quitting porn can give us the motivation to pursue our dreams. Imagine living a life free from the chains of depression and anxiety. Picture Joe, a regular guy who, like many, was trapped in the cycle of pornography. His mind was constantly clouded with feelings of guilt, shame, and loneliness. He found himself slipping deeper into depression and anxiety, his mental health suffering due to his habit. But then, Joe decided he had had enough. He made the decision to quit pornography, a decision that was far from easy, but one that he knew was necessary. As days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Joe started to see a change. His mood began to improve, his anxiety started to lessen, and his depressive thoughts were not as frequent as before. Joe's mind was no longer obscured by the fog of depression and anxiety. His thoughts were clearer, and he was able to enjoy the present moment, rather than being constantly worried or feeling down. The change was not immediate, it took time, but the transformation was evident. Joe's story is not unique. Many who have quit pornography have reported similar experiences. They've found that without the guilt and shame that often accompanies pornography usage, their mental health significantly improves. Quitting porn can lead to a healthier, happier mind. Just like Joe, you too can break free from the chains of depression and anxiety. It's not an easy journey, but it's one worth embarking on. Picture yourself enjoying social gatherings, free from the urge to isolate. Imagine being the life of the party, engaging in meaningful conversations and forming deep connections. This is the reality for many who have quit pornography. Let's take the example of Dan. Dan was a habitual porn consumer who found himself constantly anxious and uneasy in social situations. He was always on the edge, preferring to retreat into his shell rather than participate in social events. But once he decided to quit porn, he noticed a significant shift in his social behavior. He started feeling more comfortable in his own skin, his anxiety levels dropped, and he found himself engaging more with people. He began to enjoy social events, forming stronger bonds and deeper relationships. He realized that he had been missing out on the simple joys of human interaction. This is what quitting porn can do. It can help you rediscover the pleasure of socializing, of being part of a community, of connecting with others on a deeper level. When we quit porn, we can find joy in socializing with others. Now imagine all these benefits combined, creating a ripple effect in your life. Picture the transformation of Harry, a 30-year-old man whose life was once ruled by the shadows of pornography. His relationships were shallow, his self-esteem was low, his sex life was unfulfilling, his motivation was dwindling, and he was often plagued by depression and anxiety. But when he took the bold step to quit porn, everything started to change. His brain began to rewire itself, clearing out the remnants of his past addiction. His relationships deepened, his self-esteem soared, and his sex life improved dramatically. He found a renewed sense of motivation and purpose. The dark clouds of depression and anxiety started to lift, making way for a happier, healthier mental state. He was no longer isolated in his digital world. He began to engage more with the world around him, making new friends and strengthening his social connections. The transformation was astounding. Quitting porn can lead to a life of clarity, connection, confidence, satisfaction, motivation, mental health, and social enjoyment. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That's right, a single step. A step away from the screens and the shadows and towards clarity, health, and genuine relationships. A step towards a life where you are not controlled by harmful habits, but rather you are in control of your own destiny. Imagine the immense power within you, the power to transform your brain, your relationships, and your life. Think about the changes that could happen. The fog lifting from your mind, your self-esteem soaring high, your relationships deepening, your motivation increasing, your depression and anxiety fading away, your social life thriving, your sex life enhancing, and the ultimate benefit, a new you. It's not an easy journey, we know, but remember, the most rewarding journeys often aren't. You might stumble, you might falter, but each time you get back up, you're stronger. You're not alone in this. There are countless others on the same path, and they're here to support you, so take that first step today. Embrace the journey, embrace the change, because you're worth it. You have the power to transform your brain, your relationships, and your life. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, don't forget to show some love by hitting that like button. And if you're as passionate about self-improvement and mental wellness as we are, do consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us to continue creating engaging, educative, and inspiring content aimed at improving our collective understanding of the mind. We've got a lot more intriguing topics coming your way, so stay tuned. Join us on this journey to a healthier, happier mind and life. Thank you for watching.